Alright, so we have a Polaris. I think it's a scrambler. It could be a trail boss. I'm not sure. I think it's a scrambler though. Really don't know much about it. Pulled it off the trailer. It had been stuck back in a barn, actual barn find. Covered for who knows how many years. It does not have a key. That's an issue. The carb does seem to be free. And I mean, that works, I guess, maybe. It's not locked up. You see the front tires are pretty rough shape. Back tires seem to be pretty good. Did notice here on the front clutch that it has wore through this cover. There might actually be something wrong in there. This might have been why it was parked. I'm not sure. This is a 2-stroke, so it has oil injection. I'm not sure if that works or not. Let's see if there's any oil in it. And I'm gonna say that is empty. There may be a dribble at the bottom. Been setting up so long, I'm not gonna trust the oil injection on it. If we can get it to fire up, I'm gonna put some premix at 40-1 in the tank if we get that far. And it is dry as well, so maybe they drained it when they put it up and they made them mothballed it, or it could have a leak, or it evaporated, or who knows. I don't really know what the year model is or anything. I don't know anything about this rig. It's kind of a curious little rig. They've extended the battery cables to where a battery can sit on the back rack, it looks like. That's pretty unique. And I guess a makeshift gun rack on the side, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, check that brake pedal moves too easily. I don't think it's got brakes, y'all. Shifter does work. It has a winch on it, which is kind of odd because it doesn't look like a four-wheeler that would be more of a woodsy type four-wheeler. It looks more like a performance racing four-wheeler that they painted. So yeah, that's pretty much what I know about it. What we're going to try to do first is I'm going to try to get some of these plastics off, get the seat off, and see if we can't figure out if we have spark or not, and go from there. Guess I'm going to start by trying to get the seat off. I was hoping that the seat would actually say what it is. You know, obviously it says Polaris, but it doesn't say Trail Boss, Scrambler, or anything. I think it's a Scrambler. It kind of looks like one. Okay. Air breather box. That's rotten. Falling apart. So that's no bueno. Some dirt daubers have made their way into the mix. We'll need to check that out and see how the breather is. The rubber pretty pliable there. That's good. We'll take that off in a minute. Check that out. Ooh, carb's pretty nasty. I kind of figured that we'd have to clean it, but I'm guessing that maybe this was unhooked and allowed a lot of dirt to get in here over the years. You can pretty much tell, some more dirt daubers, but you can pretty much tell that it has been sitting for a while. The lucky part, I guess, at this point is there's no wasp nests that I've seen that are active, so we're not out here dodging and getting stung. That's a good thing. Yeah, it looks like maybe this how it came, I don't know, but it looks like they put some screws in there to hold it, and maybe it's factory, I don't know. Let me see, anything else? I guess the original color was yellow and they painted over it. Okay, not a problem. You know, getting to the spark plug is probably going to be the big deal. If I had to guess, the fuel petcock is in the off position, so they definitely mothballed it. That's a good sign. Yeah, so this might not be very hard to run unless it was broke down, and that's the reason why it was mothballed. I'm not real sure. So we have a lot to take off and look at here. I'm trying to think of where the good place to start would be. Getting these plastics off or on the front here. You tell out here at the bottom here there's a lot of oil here, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe the oil injection was leaking. You know, these are liquid cooled engines as well, so that's something else we're going to need to look into and make sure that the radiators actually had antifreeze in it. You know, who knows, but motor's not locked up, so I mean, that's a good sign. Gives us something to start with. So I'm going to attempt to get some plastics off. Stick with me. Okay, so took the cap off here on the oil injection. Let's see if there's a way to get this piece off without everything else being taken off. Maybe I'm gonna try to just get this off. I don't know how it comes off. Like that, I guess. Not sure where that wire went, but this, I guess you would call wiring panel. Marked pretty good, so it should not be hard to figure that out. Have a few wasps in it. Let's see if we can get this radiator open. Hey, full, and it is antifreeze, so another great sign. Yeah. All right, I'm going to put this cap back on so we don't get anything down in it. And I am going to remove this bullet connector. Ooh. I'm going to remove this bullet connector so we can get this plastic completely out of the way for now and knock my tools on the ground while I do it. Managed to find my short extension. Insert sarcasm. I'm gonna get a wrench on that. Not exactly the right size, but we're gonna use it anyway, I think. We'll get all these screws out on both sides here, and then hopefully we can get the plastic off. I'm gonna do my level best not to lose anything off this rig. Like I just dropped my nut. You don't want to lose anything off of it because getting parts for it might be hard. Which, you know, something like this, you can go back with a regular bolt or whatever, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll be back with you after I get all these out. All right, got all the screws out, I think, that we have to get out. Get the fuel cap off. This gasket. Which I like that idea. That's pretty cool. Now, what else am I going to have to take off to get this off? That is the question. It looks as though all of that is attached to each other. And it also looks as though maybe instrument cluster here is going to have to come off as well. Yeah. Okay, get the fuel cap back off real quick. Show you guys something. Thought I had the camera going and I didn't. Where the ignition switch is here, I took the nut holding that on off, Did the same for the choke. Looks like that. Pulled those out. Looks like we have some lights that are here, and we're gonna have to unhook them from back here, which is, you know, fine. Yeah, not a big deal. Kind of want to get them on film here so we can see what colors went where. It's gonna be hard to see, really. Yeah, very hard to see. So, yeah. It's like a white, purple, and black without a cover on it that hooks into another black. So the white's on bottom, purple and white in the middle, black on top hooks to another black on top. The other side has a brown wire that's coming out of that black wire. Then you have a green with a white stripe and a blue with a black stripe on top. On top is the blue and black stripe. The middle is green with white stripe. The bottom is red. Okay. Alright, so I'm having all kinds of trouble getting this plastic off. It is broke right here, so I mean that kind of helps in a way to get past this. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take the handlebars off, and I think that it'll give me a little more clearance to get this thing out. It does have to come over the top of the shifter, and I haven't watched a video on messing with one of these. You know, I work on a lot of four-wheelers and things over the course of a year, but I haven't tackled one that's kind of like this one, I guess I would say, even though I've worked on a lot of Polaris. Anyway, I'm going to get the handlebars off and then try to move that out of the way, and I think that'll give me enough room to get this off. I'll be back with you after I get that done. I got the handlebars off here. I want to see if this plastic will come off a little easier. I'm sure it will. And we'll move on to the next step. Get it over that. Get that up. Turn these sideways and just kind of fish it through. Probably not getting to see a lot of what I'm doing, but trust me, getting the plastic off without tearing it, that's the goal. This tank, although it's not perfect, it's not as dirty as I thought it would be. I feel kind of okay about it. I'm going to blow some air through it and try to clean it out that way. But we have to get it off anyway to clean it, so, and to get the spark plug. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll get this tank off of here. Well, it's got some fuel lines here that need to be disconnected before we get to them. See if we can get a look-see here what's holding us up. Well, I see one problem. Can y'all see it? And I wonder if this is why it got quit getting rode. See, look at that. See if I can get this off. Golly, that's on there. All right, look at the spark plug, y'all. It wasn't even in. Now, it could be a sign of something else happening. They just stuck it back in like it is, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like that it was never in all the way. I'm gonna put it back in a little bit until I get this tank off, and yeah, but check that out. That might be the whole cause of this thing not running. All right, I'm gonna kind of give you a little peek here. You have two lines coming off the fuel tank. That's a shut-off valve there. You have a line right here, another line right there, and they have the squish type fasteners. So I'm going to try to get those off and that'll unhook the tank from the foiler. But there's two lines there that are going into the petcock. So anyway, get these off, and I'm gonna need 2 hands, and the tripod will be in the way, so I'll be right back with you after I get these lines off. Okay, I was able to get those 2 lines off. I'm probably going to replace them because they're iffy on whether or not they're any good or not. Notice I did put the cap back on here to keep things from falling down into the tank. I do have those unhooked. This thing's free now. Now I'll show you these 2 lines that I was talking about. These go into the petcock, one on each side, but you see how dry rotted, or maybe you can. Nasty these lines are, so I'm going to probably replace these. Well, not probably, I'm going to, and all that, but possibly not until we test it and see if we can get a running engine here, and then we'll move forward with that. But as I was saying, if you look here, this spark plug was not even in, screwed all the way into the head. Well, you can even see there with the threads. Now, is this the proper plug? I don't know. It's an NGK BR8ES. I think that's right for this. Looks like it may be running rich. I don't know. I'm gonna clean this spark plug up, and then we're gonna see if we got spark. Yeah, that's the next move. Okay, so before I clean this up, I'm gonna, so I don't forget, I'm gonna pull the plug out. I have some WD-40, you know, pretty much anything, kind of oil base. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't want to underdo it. Kind of lube up the cylinder before somebody gets on to me, because I've already pulled the rope a few times. Just a little bit in there. I'll work this up. It's definitely got compression, so that's not going to be an issue. My question is, I'm going to go ahead and screw this all the way down. I'm wondering if it's the right plug or not. See if the piston hits it. Interesting. All right, I'm going to clean this up and clean this plug up and see if we have fire. All right, so I cleaned the plug up just a little bit here, if you can see it or not. I'm gonna go ahead and get it hooked back on here and see if we can pull the rope and see if we have spark. The only problem is I have to have the key on, and I don't have a key, so I'm gonna have to figure out that wiring as well and see what I can do about that. Yeah, I'm gonna try, because you can see this housing is closed here. And like I said, I don't have very much of an idea about what the wiring is on it. So I'm going to take this plate off and see if I can figure out what wires need jump to do what. So that's going to be the plan. I wonder if this thing's got a glove box on it. I think most of them do, and I haven't checked that. The key might actually be in there. Watch me go through all this trouble and that be the case. It actually looks really good in there. Wish I could find the key. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but we do have spark. That's good news. Okay, I snugged the spark plug back into the head there. Since we have spark, that's a pretty good deal there. What I'm going to do now is I am going to go get this fuel tank and blow it out with some compressed air. Try to get it as clean as I can get it, and then we're going to come hook it back up and see what this thing will do. Probably going to have to take the carb off and clean it, but we're just going to try this, just see what happens. All right, I know it's kind of getting dark out here. I went ahead and hooked the fuel tank up, bypassed the petcock, and ran it directly to the carburetor. 40 to 1 fuel, and I didn't put very much in it, maybe not even half a gallon, just enough that the carb should get some fuel to it. I'm gonna hit it with some carbon choke cleaner and see if she'll fire up. Here we go. Contact. Oh, dang. Definitely have some compression. We'll fire it up again tomorrow and put it all back together and see if we take it for a spin. Smoking pretty good. You know, 2 strokes do smoke. It does seem like it's smoking a little more than it should, but that may clear up, it might not. Depends. Running and she's loud. She smokes. She smokes like hell. But it is a 2-stroke. And I'm thinking it's very possible that the reason that oil injection was low, I think it may have leaked off into the engine. I'm not sure. I'm going to let it idle the fuel that I have in there and see what happens. Yeah, not sure what happened there. Let's check this out. Alright, so I pulled the carb off of the 4-wheeler. You know, you seen the video, we did get it running. I knew I was going to have to probably clean this carburetor out a little bit. It's not in horrible shape, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it, and that way when I put it back together I know that part's been done. The access to it's a little difficult, so I'd rather do it now than have to pull it back off later. You've seen a lot of my tear downs on carbs. You know, pretty simple. I'm going to take these 4 Phillips head screws out. This will be the bowl. We're going to check in there and see what's in there. Okay, so we pulled the carb. I went over and I cleaned it. It really didn't look that bad. Like I said, I think this thing was mothballed when it was put away, which is a good thing. But I went ahead and opened it up and I cleaned everything as best I could. Like I said, it looked really good. I'm going to stick this back on and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have the carb back on. Make sure that you keep up with the adjustments on here. Try not to disturb them. Usually they're set where they need to be. And if you make any adjustments, you kind of know where you made them. Hope that makes sense to you. But you guys have seen time and time again people, you know, pulling the carburetor off, cleaning it, putting it back on. That's basically all we did. Did not put a kit in it. Everything looked to be pretty good shape, so we're just going to turn some fuel on and let it hopefully fill up, and then we'll try to crank it again, see what we're dealing with. Well, I think we might know why it was parked. Yeehaw. I'm gonna let this cool down and try to figure out what's going on here. Yeah. Well, it does run, and it still has a few problems, I'd say. It overheated a little bit. I shut her down, but yeah, she was howling pretty good. Could be that because I don't have an ignition switch, maybe it's not getting this voltage down to the fan to make it kick on. I'm not really sure. I'm probably going to just stop until I get a new key switch and go from there on it, just to be safe. So we don't have any extra problems that pop up. I don't want to tear the thing up. I want to actually fix it. So, and if that doesn't work when I put the key switch on, we will go directly down to the fan and put voltage to it and see if we can get the fan to kick on. If we can't, well, we know that fan's bad. And then we'll decide what we're going to do from there. Still haven't seen if it's going to move yet. I was actually about to jump on it to do that. But, yeah. No such luck considering the overheating situations. So that's pretty much it for the moment. Gonna put the seat on to try to keep things from getting down in it, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So yeah, will it run? Yeah. Does it run great? It needs some work, but I think it's salvageable and savable. So we'll figure out what parts we need and we'll get it fixed. So that's going to be our next move, though, is we got to figure out why it's trying to overheat and why the fan's not kicking on. Like I said, though, I think it could be because of the key switch. So there will be a part 2, maybe a part 3 on this, because I want to clean it up. If we can get it running properly, I'd like to clean it up and maybe get a little bit of a paint job on it, make it look a little better, and then take it down the trails and see what it does. We're definitely going to come up with a tire, though. This tire goes down pretty fast. All right, we're gonna check out now.